Gallifrey in the constellation of Casterbarus.
I hope the ears are a bit less conspicuous this time.
You might be a doctor, but I am.
I'm a doctor, but probably not the one who looks good.
Absolutely fantastic.
All of time and space, everything that ever happened or ever will. Where do you want to start?
Hello everybody, welcome back to Big on the Inside, the new Who Doctor Who Watch On podcast. It's Tim. Tim's always here. No Harry Murdoch for like, what's this, the 8th or 7th time now. Harry just decides he doesn't want to show up. He doesn't want to be part of the show. That's a lie, we just couldn't make our schedules meet. But replacing Harry, as always, is the one and only Mr. Harrison Tinley. Harrison, how are you?
Hello. As always, thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here. And, we're going to, talk about news.
But first of all, we might sound slightly different. We might sound slightly more high-tech than normal. That's because we're actually in, like, a proper, super-duper podcast studio. What do you make of it, Tinley?
I mean, it's classy, guys. Yeah, I mean, when you, if you ever, see it, which you won't, unfortunately, it's pretty classy stuff. Yeah, this is an upgrade, to say the least, from what we used to.
What, Zoom?
Pretty much, yeah, and just, like, awful quality, to be honest. But no, this is next level.
Leather microphones, some big soundproof booths, a mixing desk. It's much better than sitting around a... blue snowball microphone in my bedroom going, what's all said now?
It's just a tad.
First things first, there's no watch long this week because, like I said, Harry isn't here, so we haven't been able to record it, but we have got lots of fun news coming up. Harry,
you did it.
Harrison, shall I start you off with some good news?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Are you familiar with Doctor Who Time Fracture?
I've heard of it, and I've heard of its problems.
Yeah, well, this is good news. It's not been flooded. It's not shut down. No one in the cast has caught COVID. The adventure continues. We're thrilled to announce that Doctor Who Time Fracture will be extending its current run through to September 2022. Tickets available from Wednesday, the 16th of February, which is today.
Wow! I mean, how much did they pay you to say that?
They didn't pay me anything.
Like such a sponsorship.
But I just think it's good because it's had all these problems, and I sort of thought...
Yeah, thank God.
I didn't know how well a Doctor Who sort of immersive theatre thing was going to do these days, because I know like they used to do the experiences and the exhibitions around the UK when like the show was at its highest like ratings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, it's not as popular as it used to be, but stuff like this still works. I think that's great.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to hear that it's now finally up and like running now. Hopefully, without any more issues on the flooding, because it's sounding awful, and with everything now here in the UK anyway, that's slowly lifting out now of COVID. Hopefully,
I don't think there is anything really that's still restricted by it. I think everything's back to normal, but everything's open, but there's still there's still restrictions in place. Yes, that's good. I am in London next weekend.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going down to London Comic Con this week, Jodie Whittaker.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you are, aren't you?
Yes,
that's huge.
I would pop along, but I can't really be bothered.
No, of course. No.
But no, it's good that stuff like that. I feel like I'm hoping when Russell comes back, we're going to get more stuff like that.
Yeah, we can only hope. I mean, like, I honestly think it will happen because, like, he made Doctor Who a brand, and then I guess like Stephen Moffat was able to help elevate onto a global scale. But
yeah.
I do hope that we get a lot more of this, and hopefully it's a step in the right direction, I'd say.
Yeah, I think like the thing that should always come first is the show. The show Doctor Who needs to come first, but I feel like nothing hurts that by branching off into like theatre shows, West End shows, touring science museums.
It's nice to have the variety over than, it's just a TV show. It can be a lot more than that, and it is more than that. It's a huge franchise, and it's awesome to see it in other forms.
I know that's something that Russell's always said as well, isn't it? He's always called it a franchise. Like,
yeah,
I remember like maybe about a year ago, he was saying it needed to do the whole Marvel thing. It needed those spin-off shows. There needed to be a Doctor Who streaming service. Or, do you know what I mean? I think he's right, and I think that's something that we're going to see a lot more of.
Yeah. It's a lot more than, just an average TV show. It's a global phenomenon.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that thing that we talked about on the walk to the studio today?
Yeah, it's actually quite hype. The new trailer's out for I don't know if it's the next one to come up, but the next 9th Doctor audio adventure.
Is it the Fox set? I think it's a story within the box set.
Or is it the name of the whole box set? I know it's called Old Friends.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's the name of the whole box set or just a story with the Cybermen in it, or it's a whole thing about the Cybermen.
I think it's called. I think that's what the box set's called. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the Brigadier returns in one story.
Oh, does he? Yeah.
And the Cybermen are back as well. So I feel like it's. Yeah, but what did you think to that trailer?
I actually thought the trailer was actually hype. It was
you haven't listened
really
to
cool.
those.
I haven't.
That first box set yet, have you?
I haven't heard the other ones, and I've been kind of like hoping for something like this to happen, like in these box sets. I'll be completely honest, because otherwise it's all just been like, it's Christopher is here, and there's some random aliens, and it's not really had like the appeal. But if you just throw the Cybermen in there or something, yeah, that's gonna. Honestly, it's going to hit everyone's appetite, because I think everyone was craving that, he didn't ever get an encounter against Cybermen, but now he's going to finally have that over than just, seeing a head in a museum.
Yeah, which is in the trailer.
Yeah.
I liked that was a fun little thing.
It's a nice note.
I like the Big Finish trailers. Some of them are a bit hit or miss.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked his, speech about the Cybermen and, their origins, and it felt, chilling, and that's what I love about the Cybermen. They're not just robots, Chris Chibnall. They're actual humans who have upgraded, and I thought the trailer really, really sold that well.
Yeah, what I was thinking was, what was I going to say? I went back on the Big Finish YouTube channel. I went, put the videos in order from oldest to newest, and, the trailer for, when they did, this, what was, was the 40th anniversary, or... I remember when they had a couple of older doctors.
I think it was called the Sea of Time.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Of Time.
And I was watching the trailer for that, and it's just done on iMovie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like a lot of Google images moving together, and I'm like, and then you look at what they're doing now. It's a massive step.
It's actually got animation in it.
Yeah, really good
Cybermen,
animation as well. What do you think to Chris's performance just for that trailer? Because you're the Big Finish guy on the podcast.
Yeah,
we're always coming to you with the Big Finish stuff. I want to know, because when I've listened to the David Tennant stuff, I really like it, but it also doesn't quite fit what I remember.
Yeah, I mean, just hearing Chris in that trailer saying an epic monologue about the Cybermen, it is cool. I think any Doctor Who fan hearing that's going to be like, yeah, that sounds cool. Yeah. I mean, as I said earlier, I haven't heard his other audio stuff, but I've always, believed that every Doctor really shines when they're either up against the, the Holy Trinity, essentially, Dalek, Cybermen, or Master.
Yeah.
It brings out the best in every Doctor, and, because of how, at this point anyway, in the audios, he hasn't met Rose yet, and obviously had all that, so he's, still carrying the PTSD of the Time War.
Yeah.
And so I kind of hope, that reflects in his counter against the Cybermen, because he's quite a emotionally driven Doctor.
Yeah.
It's very powerful.
Yeah. What do you think then to Matt Smith? Because he never got to meet the Master.
Yeah, I mean... I've always hoped it would happen, and you never know, Anniversary special or another audio in 80 years time or something. But I mean,
Geronimo.
It was always a bit annoying because he's the only apart from Chris as well, but he's the only New Who Doctor who's been around a while that hasn't had that.
He also didn't meet Davros.
He didn't meet Davros either, but yeah, you're not wrong. He didn't have a lot, and he didn't have any returning companions from the RTD era, because I guess it was a lot separate. But no, it'd be really cool to see Matt Smith encounter the Master, because I always the episode Amy's Choice, where he had the chance to meet the Dream Lord.
The Dream Lord, that should have been this week's episode.
Oh, a sit off fairs. Well, I guess that you guys will get the chance to talk about that, but I've always kind of loved their dynamic.
Yeah,
so,
Toby Jones and Matt Smith.
So if it's anything like that, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
It worked so well for that. Only the one episode.
Yeah, it's strange that. Harrison, I don't know if you've been keeping up with the podcast, but
right.
what we do now is we go on to a segment where we do whatever we're going to turn into the video this week. You know the laws of YouTube.
Yes.
The video has to be at least 8 minutes long.
Ah, dear, yeah.
So what I'm going to do is we're going to do a countdown, and then I'm going to ask you a very clickbaity question.
Right.
And I need your best reaction to that question.
Okay, my honest reaction, yeah.
Okay.
You've got to hit me with this.
3, 2, 1. Harrison, what would you say if I said it's about time we recast some of the old Doctor Who's?
Oh, hell no. Hell no. I mean, okay, right. Here's my argument for this. It's already happened with David Bradley, and although I like him, it's still hard to see because it's like it's not Hartnell. So
Yeah.
But I know it happened in Classic Who also. But no, I wouldn't like it. I think if it's age of the actors, I understand, but I think, voiceover can work so well. If anyone has watched Rise of Skywalker, at the ending where you hear the voices of all the Jedi,
yes,
and that is cool.
Yeah.
So no, I would be really against it personally.
Whilst we wait for the news of Jodie Whittaker's successor to be announced, presumably sometime prior to filming on Series 14, Big Finish have installed another First Doctor into the TARDIS. Over the past few years, the company, makers of official licensed audio dramas in the world for Doctor Who, have engaged in a policy of sensitive recasting early companions such as Ben, Harry, and Durder. Durder? Who's Durder?
Actually, this is a Hartnell companion that was only around for a few episodes.
Oh, really? Are enjoying further adventures with actors. In the Pertwee era, the daughters of Caroline John and Elizabeth Slane are now played by their respective mothers' roles. Daisy Ashford plays Liz Shaw, and Sadie Miller plays Sarah Jane Smith. The recasting of Doctors remains a tricky subject. We'll skip through all this. But basically, Big Finish have recast yet again the First Doctor. You may remember that they brought David Bradley in to do the role.
Yeah, they did.
It seems that that's still going ahead, but for now, Stephen Nonna, Noonan,
right.
Noonan, is a character actor and former member of the RCS,
Right.
RSC. He was originally narrator of the Great British Bake Off from 2011, and has also previously appeared on Spooks and Cassandra's Dreams and various stage productions with the Royal Shakespeare Company. Yes, what do you think to that?
It's always a tough one. On audio, it's more... I can more pass it on audio. Like, ages ago, that audio that came out on YouTube, that parts one that had 9 and 12 meet, and it was fan audio, and I thought that was passable. I could hear
both of those
them.
roles.
Yeah, so I'm open to it. On audio, I'm a lot more okay with it because obviously you're hearing it and it's the Doctor. I don't always think a voice sells a character. It's more dialogue as well. If you hear Geronimo, that's a line from a certain Doctor, etc.
Yeah.
But on audio, I'm okay with it. I mean, in terms of recasting companions, I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah.
It's more the main role of the Doctor, but I mean, on audio, it's passable as long as the performance is good. And I trust in Big Finish now as a brand. I honestly think everyone does at this point.
Yeah.
And so I think they know what they're doing.
Shall I play you a clip of this guy?
Yeah.
So I can play it through your headphones.
I can just hear an honest reaction. I might instantly go, no thanks.
Yeah.
Or
Join Doctor Who for a new adventure. Atmospheric pressure, oxygen, temperature, radiation. Yes, it's all quite normal. Now, let's have a look at the scanner, shall we? We're in a forest.
I can see that, Doctor. But where? And when?
Well, judging by those trees, I'd say, England. Yes. Somewhere around the 13th century.
That's probably about enough for that.
yeah. I mean,
Very different to David Bradley's.
it is very different. I mean, I can hear Hartnell, but a lot of that's in the lines. He always does. I don't know. I mean, it would take me time to get, used to it. It's almost like the first time when we heard David Tennant on audio.
Yeah.
It was a bit like, ooh, I don't know if I like this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm okay with it as long as it's stellar, as long as it keeps like that. I don't know. I'm very conflicted on it, but obviously I understand that, over time, actors are gonna pass away or just not be interested. So it's going to happen eventually, and it is a nice way of keeping Doctor Who canon alive, for classic fans who love that era.
What do you think to stuff then, say if they were for the 60th, right?
Yeah.
and they want to bring some classic actors in, but for whatever reason, they don't want to do another time crash where Colin turns up and he looks like he does now, which isn't necessarily how he looked when he originally did the show. How would you feel then to, say if the budget allowed it and they could do it successfully, to some de-aging?
I mean, if it looks good, I'd say. If it's like,
Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah, I was, yeah, or spoilers for the rest of the Mandalorian. Luke, turning up and how he looked, I think was passable.
Yeah.
As long as it's done right, but obviously I know it isn't going to be like an Alfred Molina in No Way Home, not going to have that much cash.
Yeah.
As long as it looks believable, I would hate to watch Anniveirsry and enjoy it and think, oh yeah, they've clearly, that's awful CGI. But that is kind of the charm of Doctor Who at times, where it looks naff and you think, okay, yeah.
But I also feel like at the same time, Doctor Who fans, they don't care that Tom Baker doesn't necessarily look like he did.
Yeah, true.
And Sylvester McCoy looks slightly older.
I mean, yeah.
I think it's more just seeing them on screen and what it represents that people are more interested in.
To be honest, I would agree, because even when Tom turn up in Day of the Doctor and he was the quote unquote curator or whatnot, it was still very impactful. I mean, sure, I mean, I guess their options are they either like just have them as they are, like old, and there's some in-canon explanation for it, or they actually do de-age them, or they do voiceover only, as I said. But I do agree with you. I mean, seeing the classic guys on screen would make, I think, any Doctor Who's fan heart like melt.
Yeah. Have you heard the voice actor they've got in on Big Finish to do the work for Matt Smith?
No, I haven't even.
Jacob Dudman. He's fantastic. He's so good.
Is he really good? Yeah.
Really, really good.
Fair. I'll take your word for it.
Should we move on to some other news? Harold.
Yes.
Harold. Oh,
Harold.
I do apologise.
Wow.
John Bishop, he's been speaking about what it was like filming Doctor Who during COVID, saying he joined at the wrong time. Let me find a quote here from Bishop. John said, "When you're talking about a global franchise, you've got Friends, you've got Downton Abbey. Doctor Who, for me, it's a big deal, and it's brilliant that I got into it, but I got into it at the wrong time." 1 second. I'm full of cold, so I'm just going to blow my nose.
Charming.
There we go, much better. The year I got into it was the COVID year, and we had big screens with me, like the whole characters basically running around the whole work, knocking these aliens out called some tyrants. I mean, Doctor Who, I'll do a year in Doctor Who, and then I spoke to people who have been in it, and they said, "What do you do?" Because obviously it's miserable in January and February, so you go off to South Africa or somewhere to create a new landscape for alien worlds. I got it during the COVID years. We stayed in Cardiff. That was my experience of shooting on location. But other things that I found as well, because I had never done anything like that before. I had done little bits of acting, but I had not done anything that was that established. The stunts, and positions of stunts in the show, I kept getting told off because I didn't realise that falling over is a stunt and there's a risk assessment. I didn't really think of that. Like, this is John Bishop's only year on Doctor Who. I'd be very surprised if Russell carries him over. Yeah. Fantastic character. I absolutely love Dan as a character. I think he's great. Very funny. But I didn't really think of it as from an actor's point of view, that he's not had the same experience that everybody else has.
Yeah, true. I mean, if you really think about it, he's in the specials as it is, so he's only going to have,
2 more outings.
So that's 9 episodes he would have had. So that's not even 10.
It's not even a full real run of the show.
It would be nice if he was kept on in the RTD era, but it would have to work well. I mean, I understand his, point of view as an actor. If you get on a job, COVID is going to impact that, and obviously because of how Flux was, cut down. Yeah. Sure, he's not going to have as much time, to work with his colleagues as others have in the show's history. So I can completely understand that, but I think even though his time, if it is going to be short, as you said earlier, like Dan has had an impact on Doctor Who. I think he was one of the highlights of Flux. I do wish he has more screen time in the upcoming specials, but sometimes it's quality over quantity.
Yeah,
like I prefer Dan over Clara, and Clara had 2.5 seasons, and I prefer Dan.
Seems like Clara had more than that.
There you go. So, but it highlights a lot.
That was a companion who overstayed their welcome.
I would agree, and that's no diss to Jenna Coleman, it's just I just think the character was on too long. But anyway,
I don't know. You look at someone like Yaz, the longest serving Yoo-hoo companion, and I'm not really tired of her yet. I really like that dynamic.
I mean, I've grown to like Yaz more. In series 11, I had zero care for her, being completely honest with you. But no, she has grown, and obviously, I think she's now going to be vital to this era now as a whole because of now her involvement romantically anyway with the Doctor, which is clearly going to have some kind of oomph. Well, I hope it's going to have some oomph.
Yeah. Cool. Let's move on. It's very strange doing the news myself. Normally, I just sit here and I let Harry rabble on about something. Matt Stevens, the Doctor Who producer, has reflected on Flux and admits that Flux was a gamble. We didn't really know how the audience would take it. Surprising, because we took it well before. Flux was a bit of a gamble, really, Stevens told Doctor Who magazine. There was a bit of necessity. Oh, hang on. It was a bit of a necessity, there we go, in the way we had to structure it because COVID and we didn't really... Oh, fuck you, all the ads loading and throwing me out my place. My apologies. It was a bit of a necessity. Where the hell's that quote? A bit of a necessity in the way we had to structure it because of COVID and we didn't really know how the audience would take it, but it seems to have gone down really well. It seems the audience really loved going back to what it was. In a way, a more traditional classic form of Doctor Who storytelling. I think Series 12, 2020, was a progression from Series 11, 2018, in terms of storytelling. Progression, from Series 11 in terms of storytelling. We wanted to set out our stalls in Series 11 and show what this era was about. We didn't want to rely on old tropes and monsters. We wanted to do our own thing, launch our own Doctor. When we came back, we wanted the show to be more exterior. We wanted to go more locations. That's why we went to South Africa to get that bigger production, bang, and, of course, sun. We wanted more filmic quality, which is why we bought in anamorphic lenses. No idea what they are. All of that was about making it more of a cinematic experience. And, yeah, I think we both agree that Doctor Who Flux, out of the whole Chibnall era, the whole Jodie era, has been the strongest.
Yeah, I would argue it has, and although they say it was a gamble, I do agree with that. It was something very different.
Yeah.
However, I do, think it worked well.
Yeah.
I don't, think it's, perfect by any means or whatnot. But it's, it was enjoyable to watch. But I do, find it interesting how he says, how they learned from Series 12 and how, I think a lot of folks would agree, and I don't know if in the minority here, but Series 12, I think the only thing that kept everyone hooked was the whole thing of the Timeless Child, and every time it was a filler episode like Praxeus or something, I was, struggling to watch it because I wasn't just engaged. But here at Flux, every cliffhanger, it was oh, what's going to happen next? I was hooked,
And we watched a lot of these episodes together.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
And it was always a case of, at the end of every episode, we would look at each other and go, did that warrant me enough to want to come back next week? I think every week, maybe apart from 2, did make me want to come back every week.
Yeah, I did, I mean, that's the, that's the kind of, beauty of it, that this is a condensed storyline, and it held it juggled a lot of characters, settings, plot lines, etc. I do think it was a bit crowded in that last episode. I don't think the last episode quite hit the landing for me personally, but to see what they could achieve in under very tight production guidelines under COVID, and the quality of it, I thought they, did a good job.
Yeah, we'll still talk about Flux, because this is something I mentioned to you yesterday.
Sure.
is that the BBC now and again, they publish on the BBC Writers website scripts to Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So that budding script writers such as myself and whatever can go on and get reference material and stuff like that and read the scripts. This was the original ending for Revolution of the Daleks. So I'm going to read this to you. I will also do the voices. Graham O'Brien. Where was he from? Oh, he's from London, wasn't he? I'm not going to do the voices. Doc, I was wrong. We do get aliens in Sheffield. He and Ryan leave. The Doctor doesn't move, talks to herself, an inner monologue spilling out. The Doctor. I could always use the TARDIS to go back, arrive there an hour after you guys did, change the timeline, then we'd have more time together. Yaz looks at her, she understands. Yaz can't. It's okay to be sad. Jack comes crashing in through the doors, breathless. Close up on the Doctor and Yaz, the end.
There we go.
So,
Wow.
the original ending for Revolution of the Daleks was that Jack, played by John Barrowman, was going to come back into the TARDIS at the end of the episode. Because that's one thing that seemed to confuse a lot of fans, because there seems to be that voiceover at the end, didn't there, where, does he say he's found Gwen?
Yeah, he said he's found Gwen and that was he on Earth? He's
on Earth and he's found Gwen,
Earth,
yeah. So I feel like maybe by the time this special had come out, COVID was already a thing, I think, wasn't it? Yeah. It was, wasn't it?
Yes,
yeah.
it was,
Yeah. So I feel that they had, and it was also, if we're being serious for a second, it was also before all the John Barrowman stuff come out and all the Noel Clarke stuff came out.
Yeah.
So I think that the reason maybe Jack was written out of the series was probably due to COVID.
Yeah. Potentially.
And that dialogue at the end was just a quick add-on.
Yeah, you could say, because, it's something that
That's
we
to say
talked about.
that scene might not even have been filmed.
That's the thing, it's if it's in that, alternate ending, going to call it that. But you know what we talked about with how I think, Vinder's role in Flux was very much like Jack's. I honestly think if you replace, it doesn't always work, but I feel like, Jack's role could have been Vinder's and vice versa. But, I think it, would have been nice having John in there again, because obviously, they hyped it up a lot that, like, Jack's here, Jack's back, and it's like, for one episode and a cameo in, series 12, so it would have been really, nice to see more of that. I mean, I don't have a clue if he'll turn up again in the other episodes and the specials. I highly doubt it, but it would have been nice, Yeah,
it would have been nice. I think it also would have been very awkward.
Yeah, it would have been a bit awkward because I don't know if it's, too soon or whatnot with regards to the controversy, but
I mean, it's like, I didn't really think about that, but it's, two people who study film. Recently, I've been learning about scripts, and the thing is, that scene might have just been written in the scripts, but then because of budget reasons, time restraints, whatever, just might not have ever been filmed. So it could be an original script thing.
Yeah.
That was then changed quite late in the day. That was originally the last piece of news, Harry, but there is some other...
Harry,
did I say Harry?
You did.
I keep doing it
You
today.
maniac.
I do apologize. But we've got some Russell T Davies news as well.
Shocker.
Harrison, which I'm just going to give a quick Google search for Russell T Davies here.
Yeah.
He's been talking about why he decided he was going to return to Doctor Who.
Right. Is it a paycheck by any chance?
It just feels new. Doctor Who returning showrunner Russell T Davies has been talking about his experience of scripting the 14th season, which airs next year. That's not right.
No.
It airs 2023.
2023 is next year.
No, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, because we're in 2022 now.
Yeah. Last September, it was announced that Davies would succeed Chris Chibnall, who's stepping away from the series, alongside groundbreaking star Jodie Whittaker, the first woman to play the Doctor. I'm looking for a quote here. This is from Russell. There are things coming up that are brand new ways of telling the story that have never been done before, so it just feels new. I wouldn't go back if it wasn't feeling new. But that's the thing about Doctor Who. Every episode is new. Every single episode. I'm sitting here now, 10 pages away from a climax, thinking, God, I've never written in this tetry before. This is strange and new, so it's always new. It's a self-renewing show. So that's kind of exciting to know that we're, like, I think for those worried, you're going to get Russell tropes.
Yeah.
You're going to have family.
It's inevitable.
You're going to have family, you're going to have political issues brought into it, like he always has done. But the fact that it's all going to be brand new is very exciting, and the actual way he's going to tell the stories, it seems, is going to be new. I don't think that means multi-platform. Like, watch one episode on your phone and then finish the rest off in a game, or read the comic book. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be a television show, right?
Yeah, I just, like, I don't know if he's going to inherit a lot of Flux traits, as in, like, it's going to be a smaller run or whatnot, but I do hope, you know, that we get the return of the story arc, or, like, the gimmick, if it's going to be, you know, Vote Saxon, Torchwood, or, you know, something like that. But
because that's rewarding to fans who watch the series for a long time.
It is rewarding to fans, like, hence why I've felt so alienated as a viewer in Series 11, because there wasn't anything to hook me. There was no, like, story arc or whatnot. So, like, you know, I kind of hope it goes in the direction of Flux, but, you know, like, knowing his work, you know, he writes very, very quality stuff, you know, everyone has their own opinion on him, but I believe he's an incredible writer. And if he's honestly infused, you know, by it, I just really hope this isn't the BBC going, look, we are desperate, here's a huge paycheck, help us.
Yeah.
I honestly hope he's gone, right, I want to, you know, do this again purely because I want to, and I have brand new ideas, you know, that can help this franchise out that I care about so much.
I've just found a hat on the floor.
Is it yours?
But yeah, no, I'm very excited to see what he's going to do with it, and the fact that he's writing it 10 pages away from a climax. Now, that he's already written a 60th. We've talked about that before. We will leave that where it is. The videos there, if you want to go and talk about why David Tennant definitely is returning for Doctor Who's 60th anniversary, you go and watch that. But I feel like he airs this next year is when the 60th airs. So does that mean we're getting a series before the 60th, and then the 60th is the new Doctor special?
Anything could happen, to be fair. I honestly, I don't know what's going to happen, because, like, you know, we talked about having a new Doctor being thrown into the 60th, and, like, that pressure. If it was like a small cameo, like how Capaldi was in Day of the Doctor, where you just, like, you know, the eyebrows and that's it. I don't know how it could work. I honestly haven't got a clue what he's got planned. I mean, I would prefer a new series first to kind of, you know, to get the audience into this new era of the new Doctor, or companion, if there is a new companion.
Yeah.
And then have the anniversary epic event. Because we've already got the, you know, centenary, which is going to be the end of this current era with Jodie, which I presume is going to be high stakes. I'm hoping for anyway.
Well, I don't know if you heard, but when we spoke before, the director, Jamie Magner-Strong, said that the 14th Doctor was not on set that day.
Right.
They filmed Jodie's last episode in chronological order. Or at least her last day. So her last day was her regeneration.
Yeah.
And Jodie had said she wasn't on set with the 14th Doctor. Russell had said at that point that the 14th Doctor had not been cast.
Right.
We know that the 13th Doctor also does not regenerate inside the TARDIS. She regenerates outside the TARDIS.
That's a nice change for once.
So, my theory is that it might be an open-ended regeneration. I don't think you're going to see a face morph.
I mean, I'll be quite honest, I'll actually be up for that, because I think that's always been a highlight of the show, you know, like, I think everyone knows where they were sat when David Tennant got shot by a Dalek, and it was that open ending, like...
I remember,
Yeah, like, are we going to Matt Smith? Is
David Morrissey?
Is he dead? Yeah, like, anything was open, and the hype that the whole nation had in that 1 week was... It was an event, you know, and I think that's, as I've always, you know, said on this channel, a highlight of this era of Doctor Who is the secrecy, without doubt.
Yeah.
And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Chibs is to pull this off and just go like, right, you know, open ending, and or if it is to go into the anniversary, where, like, I've heard, you know, well, you know, theories have talked about on this channel anyway, you know, that the whole anniversary is perhaps the process of the regeneration.
Yeah.
Don't know, but...
Because something we've thrown out is that the 60th will be a 10th Doctor-led story, and you don't get a new Doctor in it. You get the 10th Doctor, and he goes on an adventure, and he meets Matt, he meets Peter, he meets Chris, he meets Jodie. And then at the end, he maybe then meets the 14th Doctor.
Maybe.
And then you get introduced to him that way. Because then that way you're getting a 60th, you're getting the biggest Doctor Who actor who's still with us, who can still realistically play that part, David. You're also then bringing back viewers because they want to see David Tennant, they want to see a Russell episode again, they want to see Tennant.
Yeah.
It's the 60th, people are going to watch it anyway. But then also you then bring them, you then tease them with what's to come with this other version of the Doctor, this future version, and I feel that then leads quite well on into that.
I honestly hope that the reveal is to happen like on air, like live or whatnot.
Oh, what, like the actor, like
Yeah.
when they did Jodie at Wimbledon and stuff like that.
Yeah, but like, you know, rather than have like an announcement for it,
Yeah.
it just happens in the episode. I know that might be impossible, you know, to do.
Oh, do you mean like they don't tell us who the actor is
And he shows up in.
I'd quite
him or
like
her.
that.
I would love that. It would send folks going crazy if you go into the new series of Doctor Who, but you don't know who the Doctor is.
The next Doctor will be revealed in this special.
Yeah, and then it will get everyone to watch
That's
it.
a very good idea. I hadn't thought of
It'd
that.
just be brilliant because the whole thing of like announcing the Doctor before, like you know. Sure, it's huge. It goes all over the news, but if they really want to up the viewing figures or whatnot, that's how you do it. Just say, look, you have to watch, find out.
Yeah, if you think about it, when they announced Jodie at Wimbledon, people instantly, idiots instantly went, I'm not going to watch it because she's a woman.
Yeah.
And people didn't. I mean, people, there would have been a set number of people who didn't watch it because of that reason.
Unfortunately,
whereas if they went, say if they're going to do that again, or it's going to be an actor of colour, or a disabled actor, or whatever, somebody who isn't a white male, right? Say if they did that, and they say, well, you're going to find out who it is in the episode, so you have to watch it anyway.
I think that
because you're going to watch it because David Tennant's in it. You're going to watch it because Matt Smith's in it. You're going to watch it because we've brought you into it, and now you're going to see who it is.
I so hope this happens, and I honestly think if anyone can do it, it's kind of going to be that baton passing between, Chips and RTD. If it was Stephen Moffat, he would have already announced it like a year in advance or something. But it would just be incredible because, Chips is great at keeping secrets. Going into Flux, no one had a clue what it was about.
Yeah.
No one knew what it was about. And then obviously you got, Sacha Dhawan, turning up in Spyfall, which caught everyone off guard. It was, oh shit, it's the Masters here.
Yeah.
I so hope this happens. I honestly think it'd be a great idea, and it would be a real oomph into that opening, if it's pilot episode, anniversary, or whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be great, yeah. I generally hadn't thought of that. It's such a good idea.
I mean, or it's going to come out in leaks, which will probably, unfortunately, happen.
I mean, I don't mind the leaks because the leaks they never confirm the leaks.
Yeah.
But as long as it's not like an Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire thing where I'm looking at my phone and I go, well, there they are.
Yeah,
I can see them stood there. But yeah, we've got no watch song this week. So this is kind of the tail end of the podcast as we slowly land this crashing plane into the ground. Thank you, Harrison, for coming back and doing this quick episode. I hope everybody's liked the new studio, the new sound. This isn't going to be a permanent thing, but when it's available, we will use it. Because unfortunately the studio isn't ours, we don't own it, it's owned by several other people, and other people use it all the time, so if we can book it, and la-da-da-da-da. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. As always, do you want to do the end trail stuff? Subscribe.
Oh yeah,
follow us, all that?
as always, guys. If you are into the podcast and the info, that we provide to you guys, don't forget to give us a like, a comment, or even subscribe to Big on the Inside podcast.
Where can they subscribe, Harrison?
Yes, that's the one.
No, where?
On YouTube, on Spotify, and on. That's it, right?
iTunes.
And iTunes, yes.
And wherever else you get your podcasts from.
Pretty much, yeah.
Nice one. So thanks very much, everybody. We'll see you again next week when we come back, hopefully with a watch-along, where we're going to be doing Amy's Choice, and hopefully Harry will be back as well. No offence, Harrison.
No worries.
Make sure you subscribe to the official Bigger on the Inside podcast.